Hello everybody, my name is Farmer Phil, and in today's video we're going to finish the stone fork. So I have the bits in it got, I have channel got, and before we go any further I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who left a comment, got in touch with me on Facebook and Instagram and all the rest. Definitely huge response, and it has definitely changed how I was planning on doing this altogether. Yeah, really happy with just I was when I originally was doing this. I said, we're humming and hawing whether we'd stop and make a two-part or just plow ahead and get it all in one video. But best decision I made was asking you for your opinion. Massive thanks. So many different things that people have said, and I unfortunately can't even remember the comment or the names that said it to me. So you can take credit for it, and you see me do that you said for me to do, because what I'm going to do now is an amalgamation of a lot of different things people said. I'm going to go ahead now. So what I've got here is I've got heavy flat plate steel. You can see it is quite thick stuff, so I'm going to use that to brace up the bottom of the bale fork, because as it was pointed out to me, and I kind of knew it myself, so I did talk about bracing it, but when you put the weight of the bales on that, it puts an awful lever on them welds, and that would really test them welds out. So to brace it up to make it even stronger, if we cut, the plan is to cut this into strips and brace it front and back of every one of them. Because the bushing is there, it's going to just have to be an angle piece, so running from the bottom to the top. So I'm going to have to get a bit tasty with angling, otherwise it's not going to look right, and do front and back on all of them. Now I'm not going to go straight down and cover that bushing, because I've decided from talking to people that the best thing I can do, and to get even more use out of this, is have a dual purpose. So the channels are going to be bolted on, but the plan would be now that I could weld in the rest of the bushings into this bar and find tines. I'm still missing a tine. I had it found in the farm. It's like, right, went to give me bits this evening. I went in, that's where that, and wasn't there. Grew a pair of legs and has walked off with itself. But I'll find one at some point. But we'll put in the bushings, and we'll leave it that this could go back to its original purpose of a stone fork. And because of that, I can't just put the plate straight down and run it up higher, and so I'm going to have to go in or go at an angle that way down, just to leave the space for the bushing clear. They can weld it in at a later date. And then that brings us on to our bits of channel, and we have quite a few bits of this channel. Father Phil said where he picked it up at some point, he bought it off someone. It's repurposed, the second-hand stuff. It is heavy bit of channel, I can tell you. It's not that far a walk from the farm back to here, but my arms feel it still. It has this little corner bracket. It was where it was cut off. I don't know what it was used for, but we'll whip them off, and we're going to use these bits to channel for two uprights, and that's all we're going to do. We're not going to go with a box frame, and I'm not planning on putting a brace between, so joining the two. And the reason for that, and I never thought of it, is this is on quickie loader brackets, and the quickie loader can turn itself right back, so much so that a lot of people said to be careful, that if you put a frame on it or that it clears the rams, otherwise them bars will just fall back in on top of the ram. If I put a cross brace, unless it's up really high, it's going to be in danger of hitting the ram. So the easiest thing is not to put on it. The plan then is, now this is where I have to get my measurements done. Now I'm not going to put them in the center, even though in my mind the center probably would be, but because that's where it hooks up, your ram is running kind of straight in line with that. So if I put that onto that, that's just going to be in danger of coming back in on top of the ram. That is my theory. If I put it just outside that, you only have that much to kind of anchor it to, so that's not a lot. So if we go to the very outside, we can go right down. We could go down even past that if I wanted, could use that as a hole. And the plan is, well, this actually comes pre-bored, happily. There is two holes in it, so I can use them two holes to put in long bolts to bolt it onto that, or I can drill a second hole further up it just because two side by side wouldn't be as strong as one there and one further up. So whether I drill it or not, again, I don't know. And then how far I go down on that depends on my overall height for carrying the bales. But that's what I'm thinking, going with the bolt-on option, so this can be dual purpose. During the autumn, when we're harvesting and baling, it's for bales. We can take off my back stands then in the winter, or when we're tilling, it could be a stone fork or a dung fork or whatever we really need it to be at that time. And also it means that if we did need to use the tractor and loader to put bales in the shed, instead of having this big contraption that's carrying 3 or 4 bales high and maybe stacking it into a shed for someone somewhere along the line, that they can be whipped off with a neater loader for getting in and out of the shed, not this big high yoke that you're trying to put that fourth or 5th bale on and you have a yoke that's up 3 bales high. Yeah. Other plan is, so the plan would be to put the inside face, so that face there will be flush with that face there, so we're going to have to figure out how deep we're going to go. Then we're going to have to cut the sides off the channel to suit, so that it kind of sits flush, and then another bit of the channel comes on the back. But the plan will be then that our channel will be here, we'll have edges on it there that will weld a bit of plate coming back, whether it's a square bit or it's just a long bit coming back that way, and then weld another brace coming on this little plate that we weld onto that, coming back up using whatever we cut off the side of it to come back up, and then join it up high and then bolt it on. So not only is it going to be bolted on, so it shouldn't be able to do that, it's also going to have a support at the back, so that if the weight of the bales come on it, that it shouldn't bend. I don't think there's much fear of that bending, that's quite heavy steel, but that bit of a backing plate to it will also take some of the pressure off the bolts. That's the thinking, that's the plan. I've been 8 minutes talking about what I'm going to do. So now the plan is to start measuring and cutting and all of that. So I think first thing I'll do is I'll whip them off. The best plan then is to start cutting my little bar and then finishing up the bottom off, finishing up that before I start going on to doing it. And also, yes, we got some deliveries there. We have seaweed in them boxes from Sealac. We have stuff from Nova Q, I think it's fertilizer for the winter barley. And then we got some goodies, Country Farm Supplies in Cork. For whatever reason, the DPD man drops everything off inside the workshop door now, and I can't move them back because I know you have to bring them back out to bring them into the farm. But let's get stuck into it. First brace bed, something like that. No, it's not sitting flush because I have to grind down the weld there. Before I tack them on, I might just grind them welds, re-weld them, grind them again, and then tack on, just to fill up any little dimples or that in them. Make 7 more of them. That bar should be long enough, and we get that better secured to that. And now it's another night and we are ready. We have the braces cut, and as you may see, we have 6 braces there and 2 there, and the reason for that is quite simply that one there is slightly to the right, whereas if we look here, that one, yeah, even though the 2 outside ones look, maybe I did put too much to one side. No, I didn't. No, looks the same. But anyways, the distance between the holes doesn't look right, so when we go with our ones that were measured for the outside bushings, this does not, it's not going to go in there where I would intend without covering space for the bushing. So we cut 2 centimeter longer pieces, which just go outside the mark of the bushing. So that's all. Luckily I copped that in time before I went and cut 8 of these ones out, and then realised I had too short and had to do more. We'll sand them down, and then we'll re-weld an extra bit into them, and then we'll cover them up with braces. I might just take the tines of it so I can just lay it over flat on its side, and then that way it's going to be that little bit easier marked. But now it's just a matter of cleaning up, welding, cleaning, welding, and getting it ready to be braced.
Put in a couple hours, it'll be as good as new. Yeah, out here in the sticks, it's always DIY. Busting up your knuckles, buddy, go and give it one more try. Putting in some elbow grease, you don't care if it's hard. Homeboy's gonna help you out. Fix it in the yard. Yeah. Dealer's too expensive and way too far away. Get your spare parts from the junkyard, you don't have to pay.
If two in, don't look too bad. You can obviously see that one's a bit longer, but I think my welding has improved. It is very thick steel, maybe too thick for this job, but yeah, two more and then we flip it. I'm going to leave it at that for the welding tonight. I'm going to go start just figuring out what I'm going to do with them bars, but that's 4 braces on the back of it there. Welds don't seem too bad, maybe not deep enough, but I don't know. They're on anyways. I don't think they come off if I hit them with a sedge. I hope not. But yeah, that's 4 braces on, another 4 to go on it, and hopefully the arse of that ain't going to come off it in a hurry. Stand it up, we'll do some measurements, and we'll see what we're going to do with these bars, how high we're going to go with them, because they're pretty high. Time to get some measurements. So 4 on my bale's high is 470s is 200 and 4 sevens. Oh no, come on Philip. Yeah, bars 280, yes. So that's 280. Can I even is there any way visualizing this now? 280 there. But realistically, it only needs to be 3 high, because you catch it halfway on in the middle bale, and then you're going to be halfway caught on the top, and you lose a full bale. So you'd be 3 bales, and 3 bales is 3 sevens is 210. So our bars are nearly 220. So you could say one of these is the height of 3 bales. Now it comes to where do we put it on it. So if that's the height of 3 bales, then I can go nearly anywhere. If I was to put that on, and even if it was somewhere there, that'd do. I'll have to take off that bushing to some extent so it'd sit flush. I have to cut a lot. That is the downside now. If I do it that way, there's a whole lot of grinding to cut. The higher I go, the higher that is, which is going to carry better, but it's also less secure. So where would the bolts come out? Well, me after doing that, them bolts wouldn't pop out right. Thought I'd just be able to bish bash bong this measurements, but no. Take off this little bracket off the end of this one, and I get a lot of measurements. Probably a bit of grinding. Because if I go past that line there, so I have that little bit, that's no bother. But to go past that bush in there means that's going to have to be all shimmied off. Not the end of the world. Let's say if we go to somewhere down there, it's going to have to be above the level of the brace. I won't really know that till I put the brace on. Never straightforward, is it? And we're back in the workshop. It's another night. It's Saturday, and we gotta get this done tonight. We have our bar cut very nicely, so it did. So it's at 50 centimeters, so half a meter up. It doesn't look like half a meter, but it's half a meter. And then this is the bar I've left with. So cut the other side off. I have a start made at it. Do the same on the other one. Then our brace is to go in the front, but I am very, very low on welding rods. Very low on welding rods. So much so that I could probably count them. Yeah. We'll see. We'll aim to put... These are all the welding rods I've left, so we'll have to actually buy more. But I'll have to see how that goes. We'll put the 2 outside ones on anyways, and then we'll see whether we have enough rods to do the inside. We'll get the outside 2 on, finish up with them, see how this goes. But anyways, let's get stuck into it. Few time-lapse footage of rooting, tearing, sparks and arcs.
Here in the sticks, it's always DIY. Busting up your knuckles, buddy, go and give it one more try. Putting in some elbow grease, you don't care if it's hard. Homeboy's gonna help you out. Fix it in the yard. Yeah, put some muscle behind it. Shade tree.
Fix it in the yard. Fix it in the yard. Fix it in the yard. Fix it.
We're well on our way here. My front brace is on. I'm down to 3 rods, so not a lot left. So 2 front braces on there, and I have this on. I have to still bore the holes and put on, but it doesn't look too bad. So what I done was ground off the edges so it leaves it nice and flat. Father Phil came out and says that's just going to bend along there, which probably will, but my plan was I welded on a plate onto the bottom and then a backing bar behind that. I'm hoping that'll do the job. Yes, galvanizing is dangerous stuff to weld, and I done what Father Phil told me, and that was grind off all my welding area to get rid of the zinc, and don't breathe when you're at it. But yeah, have it done. Just a matter of I had it square, sitting it square again, and popping in 2 holes to pop in 2 bolts. We're into the next one now, and then we'll leave the boring of the holes till last. I don't have enough welding rods to put on them front 2 braces, so I'll do them another day. And we're back in the shed. Now, it's been quite a few days since I was in here last working on this, so I'm trying to psych myself back into the mindset of what I'm doing. I have this side, I smoothed it off the top, and I smoothed it down that. But now, I have to also do the same this side. I have to get the grinder, smooth off, and then take off. There's a couple of bits sticking out, that all has to be shimmied off, that has to be cut. I also found my extra tine, here it is here. I found it after its last adventure, and as soon as I seen it, I was like, right, you're coming with me. I just brought it straight over here so I'd have it. Grinding, welding on drill holes. She's done. We'll have her done for this evening. That is the plan. So anyways, do a little bit tidying up here, and we get stuck into it. And now I have 2 uprights put together. So we welded a plate onto the bottom and then welded an upright to give it a bit more support. So then they just literally, I'm pretty sure I already showed you the other one, sits down on that. So now it's a matter of take out 2 spikes, lay this down on its back, put them on it, line them up, mark out and bore the holes for putting in my bolts. I'll have to go up onto the loft and see what size is going to suit them. I might just clip up there now, and then that way I know what size drill I will need to fire it all together. I'd say M14. That's what my gut is telling me. I think M16 looks too big, but we'll bring one. I'll bring an M12, but I think M12 is too small. So, and then when we go to drill, we'll drill with a pilot hole. So pilot hole is the smaller drill bit first, and then we'll go with the right size drill bit. 14 fits nice. 16 is the one. Stick it on time lapse. We'll get the bits gathered and we'll lay this out on the floor and we get ready to start drilling.
Slide in some wrenches, a couple nuts and bolts. Get it good and tight now, make sure it's gonna hold. busting up your knuckles, buddy, go and give it one more try.
It would be just my luck coming to the final hurdle to break the drill bit. That's my M16 drill bit in bits. Still need to drill 4 more holes. Oh man, am I peeved off right now. I want to get this finished tonight. Well, when I say finished, to the point where you look at it and you think it's finished, but it just needs a little bit more. But just drilled out the other side. M13 is the next largest drill bit I had, and I ended up breaking 1 drill bit either side. Not my night for drill bits though. The other drill bits I have, they come from a multiple set of drill bits, and they're not the best drill bits. They have a tendency of breaking anyways. But yeah, no, a bit hard in drill bits tonight now. We can assemble it and see what it looks like. Stick it together and see what it looks like.
Putting in some elbow grease, you don't care if it's hard. Homeboy's gonna help you out. Putting in some elbow grease, you don't care if it's hard. Homeboy's gonna help you out. Fix it in the yard.
And here we have it. The Bale spike that I have put quite a bit of time and effort in. Is it perfect? Nope. So we'll go through the first, very obvious, and probably the biggest thing I'm kicking myself over. I never thought of it when I was doing it, and that's my spikes. These two are sitting low. These two are sitting up. What I should have done, and people said it, was I should have put the tying in and the bushing in and then checked to see that they were all sitting right. But I never thought of it. I just banged in the bushings, welded it in, and that is the first biggest mistake. Thing I'm probably the most off about now. It makes a little bit of a flex of it, but I know when for putting in the other ones, but it shouldn't affect its job. And then me upper part, which can only be described as a set of goalposts, is for carrying the bales. Now if my measurements, and bring the torch with me, my measurements are right, we should be able to hold on to 4 bales there. That should cap definitely 3, but should put 4 if you catch 1 in the bottom midway, and then you should be able to have the top of that bar some of the way on the 4th bale. Now it is quite high. When Father Phil seen it, he kind of rolled his eyes. He said, what the f are you doing that for? The whole goal was to get it 4, because we put the bales go on the trailer 4 high. So if we can put them on 4 high at a time, it just speeds up the job. That's what it's about. It's just about speeding up the job and about getting a bit of practice in fabricating. The issue I have at the minute now, everything they seem pretty straight up. They seem pretty straight. Like I'm quite happy. I seem to have got them quite straight. Backing bar I put onto that there, and that bar there is giving it good that way. Not moving that way, but the wobble forward, and that's purely because I bolted at the bottom. I'm gonna have to bore a hole, bore, and put in the 3rd bolt. The only reason I went with them 2 bolts, and I knew I needed one up there, was they were already bored. Bang them in it, see what went. But I'm gonna have to go try bore that steel. Father Phil said that steel could be quite hard bored, and just bore through, put another bolt up high, and then that'll stop it from doing that. Both of them will do that. So anything that kind of annoys me about that. Other than that, I'm quite happy. They seem to be sitting quite nicely. So we won't be putting any bars across it or anything like that. I'm going to leave it like that, bolt on, bolt off job. I think it should work not too bad. Father Phil was out when I had the first one put together, and he doesn't think it's going to last. He thinks these are just going to bend backwards and just going to shit, because that's a weak spot there. That's why even before, it was always my intention to put that flat plate there and then that upright there, just to give it that bit more stability. Now whether it's enough when you put 4 bales on it or not, I don't know. Father Phil is of the opinion it won't be. His idea would have been basically just turn that the other way around so the channel is facing out, and same again, just bolt it on and leave it at that. Which, if they just bend into shite, that's what ultimately I will end up doing, is just getting another set, because there's a couple more of them in the yards. Next, well obviously I'm only on M12 there. I need to go up to M16, so I need to get myself another M16 drill bit and probably order 2 or 3 while I'm at it, just in case I break them again, because I must be doing something wrong, because I broke 3 drill bits tonight trying to bore them few holes. We'll have to go with another hole up there, and then she's ready to go. We're going to test her out when the hay gets baled this year. Hopefully, touch wood, it's rain at the minute, but hopefully there's hay in the summer. We'll put this on a loader tractor, and this is kind of doing things backwards. I made something for a loader tractor when our loader tractor is broke. Should be fixing the loader tractor, then making something for it, but however, fixing the 6480 is above my pay grade, because the whole front has to come over, because the new timing housing I think has to go on it. There's quite a bit of heavy mechanic, and you could say, to go into it. Just because of what happened, the injector pump quite literally fell off. Yeah, that's what's wrong. The injector pump quite literally fell off, and that whole lassie there, we just don't have the space in here to go at it. That's why it's not been done yet. On that, you'll find out more at the weekend. Father Phil's going on an adventure to get bits, so that'll probably be starting back at that next week when he gets all these bits he's bought gathered up. Other than that, then, so we'll bring her out, we'll test her out, we'll see, is anything going to break, is anything going to fail? If it does, can I fix it? What can I do to make it better? If it doesn't, and things, touch wood, stay right, my next job then is going to be put in the rest of the bushings, the rest of the tines, and have it that he can be used as a stone fork, and it'll be dual purpose. You can leave your guesses in the comments down below. What do you think that's going to break? If anything's going to break, do you think it's going to last? Is it not? Any suggestions, anything you think could be a weak spot or could be improved, in the comments. That's how I'm going to learn that little bit more. And if we get all that done and everything looks perfect and everything seems to work, if it gets a full season done without falling apart, then we'll get that go blaster at it. We'll get the spray gun at it, which is actually, it's only after arriving there, and then we'll spray it. Next thing in the workshop, well, first thing before I put the next thing in the workshop, I'm going to have to do a bit of a big spring clean in here and try and get the thing tidied up, put back. And then the next thing to come into the workshop is a horse box. Yes, a horse box. Me and Liv bought a horse box, cheap and cheerful, in quite good nick, and we're going to kit it out as a travelling shop for going around to the shows. Hopefully have it for some of this year. It all depends. I have timber bought, the timber for it is in the other shed. Once I get enough space that I can get into that corner there, that doesn't interfere with working on the 1200, me and Liv will get cracking at that. That's our next. If you want to see videos on that, please do let me know in the comments, and if people want to see it, I'll film it. If you don't, I won't. On that note, we will be doing shows. Our first show this year that we'll be going to is Longford Ploughing match. Tell you what, I'll get Liv to stick it in the description or put up on screen there. It's Longford Ploughing match, the 26th of March. That's the first one we'll be going to. We'll be going with the stone picker, 7618, not this, but our own stone fork. After that, then, we are relatively open book, and if anyone wants to get in touch with us to book us for going to your show, no matter where you are in the country, we want to try and get everywhere as we can, go north, south, east, west. Try and get to all corners of the country if we can. If you want to give us a shout when your show or ploughing or whatever you have is on, please do get in touch with me. The plan is to do maybe 1 or 2 shows a month, hopefully, depending on how we can keep things in stock. And that's kind of what we're hoping for the summer. So, and finally, this is Liv's gonna love this. It's 11 minutes long, me talking. Finally, I want to give a big thank you to Midwest Electrical. They have helped us out massively getting tools back in the workshop. Well, they're all the spraying equipment that's after they've sent on to us. It was always the thing when I come into the workshop, you'd never find the tools, you'd never find what you're looking for. You'd spend 10-20 minutes looking for what you're looking for, and you get sick of it and you just feck off. You couldn't be bothered. But now, because Midwest has worked with us on getting tools back in the workshop, we have a huge selection of stuff here, nearly everything we need. Big massive thanks to Midwest Electrical. If you want to check them out, there'll be a link in the description down below. We're going to leave it at that for today's video. Can you call me Fabricator Phil yet, or am I just a chancer? One or the other. Anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed today's video. As always, please Like and subscribe to the channel. Videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday. That is it for me. Good luck.